And welcome in. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. It's our Wednesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to you each and every day here. Talk about how to start a show. I'm talking about the energy is so high, I forgot to turn my phone down, and even I got to listen of the hype that takes place on ESP, on the OTH here on KDSJ 479. And real quick, today we're going to be giving you little clips. You know, Eric Musselman has quite the personality, and we'll let you hear, his excitement and just little things that he's put together to welcome his new Razorbacks on the Must Bus. With that being said, Vince Jackson, Jalen Tate, and Devo Davis are the new Razorbacks. We'll talk to a special guest in the 145 hour and recap today's signing day for the University of Arkansas under Eric Musselman. But real quick, want to go over to my main man, signing day, Demetrius. Big day, not only for Arkansas, but really SEC. As when you look at this, 5 of the top 10 classes, I believe, were in the SEC in the 2020 basketball class. Has to be impressive. And if you like basketball going forward in the SEC, got to feel pretty good.
Definitely, it's stacked up to be a good season. Interesting season in our league and in our conference, especially with Arkansas signing the class that they signed.
You look at Arkansas, and as evidence, I didn't mention Moses Moody or Jalen Williams. It is anticipated that they will sign on the dotted line with Arkansas. Whatever, it just the time has not been mentioned. It could be today, but and I don't think that's to be alarming that these young men. I mean, it's just a different age, Demetrius. You and I were talking about it, and you made a good point. Kids just don't, and this is not a bad thing when I say this. Let's just make a note. They don't get as hyped for signing day as maybe in the past. But I think that's just due to you have so much social media during their recruiting period.
Absolutely. A lot of these kids have been, the king of their school for, going on 2 or 3 years. So it's nothing new to them to, have press conferences and have, cameras in the room announcing moves that they decide to do. So, I think it's just become the norm with, like you said, Instagram and YouTube and all the social media attention that a lot of these kids are getting.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to think. I mean, these kids are 17, 18. Some of them, you go back to look at Amani Bates. I mean, this is a kid that's a sophomore in high school and has over, I don't know how many millions, or close to 1 million followers, each and everything this kid does. Even if he walks down the street, it's going to be Instagrammed or put on social media, and he's going to get likes. And there's just so much going on with these kids that I think they get kind of worn out in the process when it does come to signing day. But that's to be expected, going forward. But when you look at this class, Demetrius, for Coach Musselman, and we'll talk about this class with our guests at 145, you have to feel good because you're getting size. And like we talked about yesterday, guys that can absolutely score the basketball.
Yeah, I think this entire class really is starting to shape and become the mold that Musselman likes. He went and got some tall, lengthy guys. I think the shortest guy they got is maybe 6'2". That's unheard of. We had guys 5'11", 5'8" on the team starting at point guard. So now I won't say it's nothing new, but I think it's just a different type of brand of basketball and just a different, somewhat like the Sam Pittman effect. It just has a different type of brand and influence amongst the college basketball to really get kids to come commit to the program.
Our good and loyal viewer and commenter on our show, Nick Lee, says he wants a national championship for his birthday. We all would want that. I want a national championship for my birthday, for Christmas, for Easter. If we can get a national championship to cover, and you always want to be that media, Demetrius, that gets to cover and experience some of these really good situations.
What I will say, Nick, is I think Arkansas is probably in the best position to even compete for a national championship the next 2 to 3 years. I'm not sure as far as what's going to happen this year with the athletic season and what they're going to do throughout this school year as far as sports. But I think when you look at the future and you forecast the expectations for Arkansas, I do believe a national championship can be in the talks with the next 3 to 4 years when you talk about basketball and football with the type of recruiting and the kids that they're going after and the potential that they have with what we could possibly land.
Right, and what Arkansas could possibly land. It's National Signing Day, so we thought we would contend on as we always talk about the Hall guys. We tell you, they don't stop watching. We're going to give you some football, and we're also going to give you basketball, but let's get this lineup started. We're first and foremost going to make our way to Edmond, Oklahoma, where we're going to catch up with Deer Creek High School's own 2022 big offensive tackle prospect for Coach Brad Davis and the Arkansas Razorbacks, Jacob Sexton. He's going to join us and talk Razorbacks, and then we're not going to stop there. We're just going to hop on in the vehicle and head down to the state that's really important, those Tex Hogs, and we're going to catch up with Devin Lemear of Manor, Texas. We're going to find out what the 2021 safety has to say about Coach Sam Carter, that conversation, and just where Arkansas is heading into a very, very hotly contested recruiting process for that young man. And then, I didn't tell you the name, but I'll tell you now. We're going to talk the Must Bus. Who got on today? We'll talk that with Kevin McPherson of AR Hoop Scoop. We'll get all that up, but let's get this thing rolling. I'm ready, and we hope you're ready. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
Hey, yo, Nashy, you go crazy. Damn, miss. You got one.
Welcome back. It's our Wednesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk. It's our Hall Guys edition because we always say they don't stop watching. But before we get to a special guest here in just a second for our Hall Guys edition, we got to show love to the people that help us make it possible. With that being said, Lindsay and Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting. And lastly, the one I always talk about, meet me there or beat me there, KDK's Chicken down at 989 South Razorback Road. Go see Keith and Kathy, get a plate of that love. And like they say, it's not your mama's, but I add this part, the best chicken and waffles in the South. But now on to the Hall Guys segment and a very special guest. We're going to make our way to Oklahoma, where Sam Pittman, Brad Davis, and staff hope to make this young man here in the coming years a Razorback. And with that being said, we're going to welcome in 2022 offensive tackle, major prospect for the Razorbacks out of Edmond, Oklahoma, Deer Creek High School, Jacob Sexton. Jake, welcome to OTH, my man.
Thank you. What's up?
Nothing much, my man. How are things going? The family okay with with what's going on with this COVID-19? How are you guys doing? Everybody healthy?
Yeah, everyone's doing really good. Parents are still getting to work, doing schoolwork throughout the day, working out, running, just kind of all that good stuff. So I've been pretty busy, just keeping at those things.
I know another part of your life that's been really busy for you, Jacob, and with that being said, the recruiting process. Arkansas comes in a few weeks back with a scholarship offer from Coach Brad Davis, Coach Sam Pittman, and staff. Talk about that, what that was like in that conversation. And then secondly, Jake, what are the other schools at the moment that's making you a high priority heading into your junior year?
Hey, yo, Nash.
Yeah, so it was a great phone call. Got to talk to him probably about 45 minutes, I think. So it was a really good talk. We just talked about what he liked about me or what kind of attributes I could give to the team. And but it was a really good talk, and we just kind of talked back and forth. And at the end he offered me, and so it was a really good call.
Who are some of the other Power 5 schools, that's really making you a priority that you've been speaking with so early, Jake?
There's been a few that have been keeping in real good, kind of building relationships, and but just keep in contact with them. Like there's just a few that have been really over the top, doing really good, and but so far that stuff is just kind of been I guess kind of easy going. Just kind of every now and then talk to them every once in a while. So
when you look at Arkansas, Jacob, and with the fact that Sam Pittman, formerly pretty much what many considered, I myself being one of those many, the top offensive line coach in college football at Georgia. Sam's since been named the head football coach here at the University of Arkansas. From an offensive lineman's perspective, with the SEC placing such an emphasis on the line of scrimmage, with Coach Pittman being an offensive line coach, when you look at your school of choices, how much will that play a factor, knowing that if you do choose Arkansas, you have a guy in Sam that really understands line of scrimmage play?
Oh well, that'd be really good, because it would be the head coach understands, like they just know kind of what they got to do and how they're running stuff, so they kind of get to see it through the O-line eyes. So I think that would definitely be real helpful for the offensive line, definitely.
Is there any in-state pressure, Jacob, to maybe stay home there in Oklahoma and either play for OU or OSU? Or is that just going to be a situation that you and your parents will sit down and make the best decision that's best for Jacob?
Oh, well, there's definitely been some pressure, but I think that's with every high school recruit.
Right.
Be stay in state, and but for me, it's just mainly been kind of friends and people at school. Just kind of talking with them. Everybody wants to see you kind of go for the team that they like, but there's kind of a point where it's like I kind of got to do this for me, not for all the other people.
Right.
This is my life. This is kind of how I'm running it, and so but so there is pressure, definitely, but it's not too bad once you kind of start thinking about your choice and the pros and cons places. So
now, when you sat down, Jacob, and you had a chance with your offensive line coaches, or the entire staff for that matter, and you went over your sophomore season, what were some of the things, Jacob, that when you watched on film, you could sit and say, Coach, I really feel good about this heading into my junior year? And what were those that you made a note of that I got to get better and work on in the off season, due to the fact you can't get into any gyms and not able to go through spring ball? How are you able to continue to work on things that you have to work on so that you can be ready once we get back to normal life?
Well, so just kind of talking with the coaches, I'm really good at whenever we run the ball, just kind of making a hole, like kind of like the train, get out of the way, or you're in trouble. But pass pro is definitely, I think, what I'm going to need to work on. But ways I've been improving that is every night just going out into the driveway and working on steps and all kinds of different mid-ball kind of band type drills that I do, and so that's what I'm working on to improve right now as pass pro.
Talking with Jacob Sexton of Edmond, Oklahoma, Deer Creek High School, big offensive lineman in the 2022 class that Coach Brad Davis, Sam Pittman, and the entire offensive staff at the University of Arkansas is really making a high priority. Jacob, I want to talk to you about who are some of the NFL or NCAA linemen that you like to study, either on Saturdays or Sundays. Maybe take parts of what they do and implement and put them into what you do on Friday nights.
I'd say that just kind of watching NFL and college, just watching their footwork. And most people, when they watch football, they watch wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, all the people that are more, I guess, kind of on the radar. O-line kind of more under the radar. So I'd say I definitely just kind of watch footwork and hand placement and all that. That's very important. So you kind of watch if they get beat on that play, you can go rewind and see what they did, and maybe sometimes you can tell yourself what they could have done to fix that. And so it's kind of like watching film on yourself, but it's on somebody else.
Great point. Now, when I come to Edmond, I come to Deer Creek High School, get my popcorn, Sprite, 20 ounce, go to the top of the stadium, the highest bleacher I can find. What type of football player will I see in Jacob Sexton for 4 quarters once that ball's kicked off, my man?
You'll definitely see an aggressive kind of finisher player. So always finishing play, finish blocks, everything, hustle off the sideline, hustle, definitely. So
now we're riding around in your car, Big Jake. I'm one of those old school guys. I'm trying to get hip or find out what's the music that you kids your age are listening to. What's the first 5 songs on the playlist once we get to riding?
I'd say just cruising. I'd say definitely some Red Hot.
All right.
We're going to the parking lot, Bachelor Park, for right before a football game. I'm definitely listening to some rock, maybe a little bit of rap every now and then, but mainly rock, just kind of hyping myself up and getting ready.
Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. I definitely could ride to a little rock. I mean, there's certain music that just get you hyped up and get you ready for some contact. But the last question, and I want you to finish the statement, Big Jake, if you would. When football is done with, for Jacob Sexton, when he's hung up the cleats, the pad, the helmet, put on regular shoes, he's going to be doing what with his life afterwards?
Just making sure that I'm staying on the right path. Most people get a lot of money, they kind of make stupid decisions and kind of got to pay for that, and not necessarily paying for the money because they have enough for that, but sometimes physically, mentally, all kinds of different ways. So definitely just staying on a straight arrow after football and everything like that's done. Just staying healthy, definitely gonna want some kids, but just having a good healthy life after football. So
and with Jake, I love having you on, man. This cannot be our last time having you on. So, if we could, as the season progresses on, maybe once, twice a month, let's get a Jacob Sexton update. You up for that?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, my man. Hey, Jake, thanks for taking time out today on the hill, and you have a blessed one, my friend.
You too. Thank you for having me.
All right. That was Edmond, Oklahoma, Deerfield Creek High School's Jacob Sexton, big-time 2022 offensive tackle prospect. The kid's real physical. And I want to go over to Demetrius and tell me what you saw from the big fella at the tackle position.
I think I'm starting to see a trend just with the type of players that Sam Pittman in the offensive lineman that Sam Pittman and Brad Davis are going. If you look, man, these are enormous guys that have the ability to move.
Right.
And another thing is they're NFL-ready linemen. And I won't say technically ready, but when you look at the physicality and their physical attributes, height, weight, length, those things, I think they passed that eye test as far as, wow, this looks like an offensive lineman that's supposed to be in the SEC.
Right.
And I think that's something we haven't seen in a long time here at Arkansas, probably since about Houston Nutt. And maybe that one time where we had the O-line averaging 300, but but that was more
Good
so
point.
a look thing. I think these guys can actually have the look and the play to kind of back it up to make that balance. So I think this is going to be a great thing come together once everything gets to clicking and rolling and we actually get some football played.
And really, you can tell, and I agree with you, that the common denominator is, Demetrius, the ability to move, the physical makeup of these young men. I mean, these are guys that come in and they physically look ready to play. Now, there's a lot to the mental and things of that nature. But, the way that Sam Pittman said, he likes big, athletic offensive linemen. It's the same thing as Brad Davis. You can see the guys that he's starting to go after. And, I'm really starting to see the trend with how they're really going to make the state of Oklahoma a big-time priority. Keywan Parker, Javion Hunt, Big Jacob Sexton, Colin Oliver, the young man Daniels out of Beggs, Oklahoma. I mean, you can tell that they're really going to hit that state and hit that state with a purpose. And these are some of the kids in the top 10 in the state that are really making Arkansas a very serious contender for that to be a destination. But we're going to step away, get a real quick break because we got another destination we got to get to. Yep, the Lone Star State, where we're heading down to talk to Devin Lemear of Manor, Texas. Got to find out what he thinks about the Hogs. All that's up. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
Hey, yo, Nash, you go crazy. Damn, miss. You got one.
Welcome back. It's our Wednesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479, coming to you from Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And we will continue on. We've been doing it for a while, so we're not going to stop now. We're going to continue on with our Hog Eyes segment. As we told you, it's Coach Sam Pittman and that entire staff. They want to make Texas part of the Razorback program, so we hopped on the bus, took the Hog Eyes to Manor, Texas, where we caught up with a major prospect, 2021 big-time safety, Devin Lemear. D, welcome to OTH.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Devin, get off into it, my man. Recruiting, since you were just recently a commitment to TCU, since have decommitted, reopened it. It's picked up, and I mean, it's only seems like the wheels getting bigger and bigger. Talk about that process. And first, I want to go with Arkansas. Talk about Coach Sam Carter. You said he called you when the decommitment happened. Could you explain what that call was like, and just what was that conversation like?
Oh, I was committed. I decommitted that night. Next morning, about 9 a.m., he called me up. He said, "Hey, you decommitted. He said, I used to go to TCU, so I wasn't gonna step on nobody's toes. But he said, I saw that you decommitted, so I had to get on that immediately. Like, high energy. He just let it know what he really what he wanted to say real quick, and he was real blunt with it. He said, man, we want to offer you, we want you to play here. And he said, I ain't gonna play. He said, I'm gonna recruit you hard. And that's the energy he's been giving me.
When a coach with such a chip on his shoulder, and is really young and eager as Coach Carter is, how does that excite you when he makes you such a priority? And let's just put it blunt, he tells you straightforward, his expectations. I mean, how does that go, with you, and when the signing day, comes around?
I mean, it's a big factor because at the end of the day, me and him relate in the fact that we both hungry for more, and we both chasing one goal just to win and be successful. And me and him relate heavily on that. We text a lot, just about our workouts and everything like that. So we definitely building a strong relationship, and we both got a drive about us. So.
Devin, who are some of the other schools that since you have reopened your recruitment and decommitted from TCU that you're really hearing from that's making you a high priority?
Baylor, Texas Tech, Arkansas. Really, all the schools that really text me, I'm a high priority. So all the schools that have offered, even UTSA still high priority. And it goes on and on, to be honest with you. But yeah, Boise State, all of them.
Playing in that great state of Texas, playing that high school football, kids almost, if you're in-state, it's almost expected to go to an in-state school. Do you feel any pressure? I know you're right there in the middle between, A&M and Texas. Is there any pull and TCU to go to an in-state institution, or is that going to be something you and your mother will sit down with, Devin, and y'all going to make the best decision that's the best fit for you going forward?
It's definitely the second option. I don't feel no pressure to go to a Texas school, to be honest. I feel like it's just more where I feel comfortable, where I feel like I can make the most important decision, like transitioning years of my life, because, that's what it's about. And I don't want to limit myself just to Texas schools if I see a better opportunity out of state. So I feel that's, if I do go to in-state school, it's not because of pressure. It's because of, that's where I feel comfortable at.
Are you looking to be an early enrollee? Is that something you've discussed with your parents, or is that something still yet undecided, Devin?
So I discussed it when I was committed to TCU. I was gonna be an early enrollee, but since I decommitted, I think I'm going to just finish out high school normally, unless I find a school within that time period that I really really confident in, and I might just go early.
When you study your junior film, when you sit down with your defensive staff coaches, and what are some of the things you feel real good about? But Devin, what were some of the notes that you made that you were going to plan on working on? I know you can't go through spring football or be in a weight room facility there at the school, but how are you maintaining your conditioning and your physical makeup?
Actually, to be honest, I work out the same amount, basically. So my first half of my day starts with school about 9 to 1-ish. And then I always get in the training session about either 2 or 4, out of the field with a trainer. And we just work on, DB drills, transitions, breaks, everything, So I'm really working on just, working on my craft. And then after that, I usually get in a friend's garage who has, some weights, and we pump an iron in there.
Keep eating, huh? Who are some of the NFL or NCAA DB safeties that you like to keep a close eye on, Devin?
Definitely Tyrann Mathieu, especially in college. I used to love Tyrann Mathieu. That's where I want to play. I just want to be all over the field because I feel like I'm very versatile in what I can do.
Right.
I really just, I watch him a lot. I also watch Grant Delpit too, in that way that he's very versatile. They bring him on the blitz, he covers everything.
Now, I'm at Manor High School. I'm going to get my popcorn and my Sprite. I'm going to the top of the Stadium bleachers. What type of football player am I going to see for 4 quarters in Devin Lemear?
You're going to see a very physical player who's all over the field. He can cover. You might see a couple interceptions, big hits, and you definitely going to see Devin Lemear set the tone in the beginning of the game. That's what I love to do. I just love to set the tone with a big hit, interception. So I feel like that's part of my game.
Talking with Devin Lemear of Manor High School in Manor, Texas, a big-time 2021 safety, top priority for the University of Arkansas. Lead recruiter Sam Carter doing an amazing job with Devin. But Devin, let's have a little fun, my man. We're riding around town there in Manor, Texas. You know, I'm OG trying to figure out what's the new music that you guys are listening to. What's the first 5 songs on the playlist, Devin, that we rocking to?
Hey, you know I prepared for this one. So I'm a big Lil Baby, Lil Uzi, Future, Drake fan. So my first 5 songs are probably gonna be Heating Up by Lil Baby, Bigger Than Life, Uzi, Prices, Uzi, Never Stop, Future, and Back to Back by Drake.
So you got it, my man. You did that, and right before we let our listeners, viewers know, he was on number 4, but he came up with the 5th one. I mean, that's how you do it when you're an athlete. It's just like he does it on the football field. But you know, Devin, I'm gonna make a statement, my man, and I want you to finish it for me, if you would. When football is done with, when it's all said and done for Devin Lemear, what will he be doing with his life afterward?
I feel like I'm just going to try my best to pass down the lessons I've learned from football to my kids, but like not just football, kind of just what football taught me about life in general.
Great point.
And I feel like I'm just going to try to pass my knowledge on to my kids the same way my dad passed down his knowledge to me.
Well, that's real. I mean, that's real and pure, young man. This will not and cannot be the last time that you are a guest here on OTH, and we'd like to continue on. So let's try to keep up once or twice a month. You up for that, D?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right, my man. Well, hey, Devin, thanks for taking time out today on the hill, and you have a blessed one, my man.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Uh-huh.
All right, later.
That was Devin Lemear, 2021 big-time safety prospect for Coach Sam Pittman, Barry Odom, Sam Carter, and that entire defensive staff. And I'm going to go over here to my man because I really don't even have to say nothing about this. But what he said is exactly what I saw as well, Demetrius. What'd you say?
Absolutely, just a physical player. You know, I think he's smart. You just look at his film, definitely knows how to undercut the ball, knows how to set quarterbacks up. Understands angles. He's just a smart kid. You can tell he really puts a lot of time in his craft and has been around good programs and good coaches that have trained him to understand the mental side of the football game, and it just brings the length. You know, it really looks like a NFL safety when you just look at him. Definitely could put some weight on.
Right.
Coming into college, still has a high school body, but when you look at the upside and ball skills and foot speed, I think he can come in great and play in the SEC.
And it just goes to show when we talk about Sam Carter, and we'll continue to talk about this young and up-and-coming defensive backs coach here at the University of Arkansas, his ability to be able to connect with some of the elite corners and safeties at such an early stage in his coaching career yet, which I think is going to be a big-time career. Very impressive. Arkansas, hey, they're definitely putting their best foot forward, and he always says it's a special place, and he has this thing, he says, why not? I think some of these kids are really starting to take interest in that, but we're going to take interest in signing day, National Signing Day for Eric Musselman and his staff. They got 3 coming in, and we're going to talk to Kevin McPherson of AR Hoop Scoop and find out just the impact that those guys will have here in the Razorback program. All that's coming up. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins, and it's the Hall Guys on KDSJ 479. Back in a bit.
Nashy. You go crazy. Damn, miss. You got one.
Chicken and waffle. I know. KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. Get on down there and see Keith and Kathy. Get a plate of that love. And like they say on their building, it's not your mama's. The best chicken and waffles in the South. They even got chicken wings. And they got these things called loaded fries. I think you might want to get on down there. Beat me down there or see me down there. KDK's Chicken at 989 Razorback Road. Welcome back to our Wednesday edition. It's our National Signing Day edition, and it's the Hall guys because they don't stop watching, and we tell you that each and every show. But really, it means a lot more today, as Eric Musselman and the University of Arkansas have really brought in 3 big timers, and I mean guys that can impact the program. So we thought we'd talk about it by bringing in our good buddy of AR Hoop Scoop, Kevin McPherson. Okay, what's up, my man?
Pat, it's been too long, man. I'm glad I got the call today. I miss it, my friend.
Hey, man, you've been getting a lot of calls as this National Signing Day for Eric Musselman. You know, we all knew that it was going to be a big day for the Razorbacks, and since has started off really well. Talk about the 3 that Arkansas has signed. I first want to start off with Vance Jackson, the grad transfer from New Mexico. Talk about his impact and how he's going to fit in, Kevin.
Yeah, I like him. 6'9", can stretch the floor. A versatile guy. You know, when he came out of high school a few years ago, he was a top 100 guy. Now he's a grown man now, right? He's a grad transfer. He started out at UConn, spent a couple of years in New Mexico. But I like his skill level at 6'9". And we look back at Arkansas in the last few years, what have they been missing? They've been missing a 4 that could stretch the floor. They really haven't had those forwards that could shoot the ball a little bit and even put the ball on the deck and create. And I think he can give them that now. He's also a guy, his sophomore season, his redshirt sophomore season in New Mexico averaged 7 rebounds a game. It dipped a little bit last year, 5.3, but still a guy, if you look again at guys like Adriel Bailey and their rebounding numbers, here's a guy I think that moves the needle there. Plus, he brings some offense on that end of the floor, on the offensive end of the floor with some shooting and face-up skill. So I like this addition by Eric Musselman, ranked as one of the top 20 grad transfers. There's over 150, maybe 160 or more now in the portal grad transfers. So to be top 20 says a lot about what some of these analysts think about him as well, Pat.
I want to stay in that grad transfer area and also ask you about another grad transfer that Eric Musselman continues to have success in attracting to his programs. That being said, Jalen Tate, another 6'6" guy. Talk about what's going to be the plans for Tate once he arrives in Fayetteville.
Yeah, I think he's a guy you plug in as a utility guy. He's a defender, 2-time Horizon League all defensive team. We know Arkansas, what they lost in Jimmy Witt is a guy not 6'6", but at really 6'3" with that elite arm length. He was like a 6'5", 6'6" guy. So you might just be able to plug this guy in for that end of the floor alone just to be that kind of defensive specialist. And then on offense, he's a slasher. Again, similar to Jimmy Witt, probably not identical offensive games, but a guy that's not going to shoot a lot of threes. He'll shoot more than Jimmy, but he's really not a three-point shooter. He's a guy that drives. He can get in the mid-post and go to work on smaller guards. A guy that's versatile. He's going to complement other players. I really like Jalen Tate. He's ranked 10th. At least one of these grad transfer top 40 lists. Again, when you look at the number of grad transfers around the country, top 10, top 20, I think it says a lot about how these guys are viewed as Eric Musselman. We saw what he did last year with college transfers, 5 of them. 2 of them were grad transfers, 3 of them were sit-out.
Right.
And now you've got 2 grad transfers so far. So a total of 7 when you look back and look now in just over a year for Eric Musselman working that portal like a champ, right?
Talking about one of the guys that signed early, Devonta Davis. People around the state know him as Devo. I mean, this is a guy that made a commitment, signed early, and just went through his high school season and did not drop off. Really lived up to what many thought is the Mr. Basketball. Talk about, his versatility, because this is a guy that, like you said, Kevin, it's all about, pace with space and being a positionless basketball player. Eric has to be real excited to get Devo in the fold, don't you think?
Yeah, Devo's big. First one on the board out of that 2020 class, and he actually went ahead and signed in November when the rest of them committed at that time. He went ahead and put ink to paper. Let me tell you, I love Devo. I love Devo. Now, he's sharing a title. They didn't finish the high school season, just missed the championship game due to COVID-19 pandemic. So they share the title with West Memphis, but they almost went undefeated in a really tough 5A Central. Lost only one game, 13-1 there. But Devo, when I really look at the triple doubles, he had so many this year, and I covered a lot of their games. And believe me, you sometimes wonder about high school stats. I keep my own stats, and he checked those boxes. He got those triple doubles, and one of the things I really noticed is how much stronger he's gotten his upper body. He is a physical rebounder at 6'4" as a backcourt player. He really went in and battled bigger guys and fought for rebounds. So he averaged 24 points, 11 rebounds. He averaged from the point guard spot 11 rebounds, finished with 8 assists a game and 3 steals. So you see the numbers that Devo put up. I love him. He's got the it factor, long strides, a brilliant open court player, can finish himself or help others. He sees everything. And I just think he's a guy with a huge upside. Eric Musselman loves him. And again, he's been signed since November, but since this is the spring period, Arkansas has a total of 6 they expect to get it done. 3 of them already have them. We talked about the 2 grad transfers and looking back at Devo signing in November.
Now, we already know KK Robinson will be signing on Monday, but the other 2 young men that you just mentioned, 3 that hadn't signed. With that being said, Jalen Williams out of Northside, the big 6'10", combo forward. I think he's going to be a really good asset for Coach Eric Musselman and staff. And also, too, the guy that everyone's really excited about by way of Little Rock, Mount Verdi Academy's Moses Moody. Talk about those 2. And when you get all these young men in the fold, Kevin, the expectation for this basketball team in 2021, tremendous, don't you think?
I do, because they've got a lot of pieces now. We talked about those grad transfers. We talked about their attributes, but they also bring leadership in terms of being seniors and veterans. You look at the young mix of guys, all these Arkansas kids that we've talked about, they're ranked in the top 100 in the country. Arkansas's got the 7th ranked national recruiting class, and that's just on the strength of the high school kids. It does not factor in the 2 grad transfers. But you mentioned Jalen Williams and Moses Moody. Let's start with Jalen. 6'10" forward center, soft hands, face-up skill, can shoot it all the way out to the three-point line. He really added put the ball on the deck and pull up mid-range game this year, which I thought was impressive. A guy that's getting better playing around the basket, but he's an excellent passer too. He sees the floor well. He's a volume rebounder. That's a big deal. Last spring and summer it's a super competitive, uber talented Nike EYBL 17 and under league that he was in. Absolutely. The best of the best, and he was second on that circuit, Pat, in rebounding at 10.4 rebounds per game. So that's big, because we know the skills there. They may take some time to acclimate on some of the design, but if you got a volume rebounder in there, what did Arkansas really miss last year? The worst at rebounding team in the SEC. So Jalen Williams helps you there, if nowhere else initially.
And then on to Moses Moody. Talk about his impact.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a 5-star. He was rated a 5-star for a while. ESPN's got him at number 38 right now, just on the outside of 10 or so spots from being in that 5-star level. But I really think he is. He was a star among stars on Montverde Academy. They went undefeated, number 1 team in the country. Everyone expected them to win the Geico Nationals. They obviously got canceled. Right. But a lot of people said that was the best team ever in high school basketball. And he's playing with other 5-stars, guys projected to go in the lottery, if not the first or second pick in the next couple of drafts. But Moses Moody, to me, was one of the best players on that team. 3rd on the team in scoring, was one of the most efficient shooters, not only from the field, but three-point line and free throw line. And I just think he brings a lot to the table for Arkansas. You look at what Mason Jones has done. You look at what Isaiah Joe has done. Right. under Eric Musselman so far, and even the year before that, in their first year of college under Mike Anderson, they were tracking. And I just think now you look at a Moses Moody's that next guy that can come in and be that kind of guy, I think. And so I think the stars are aligning for Arkansas to make a run when you start looking at this recruiting class.
We've got about a minute and a half. I want to put all pieces all together. You get in those 6 that we anticipate to sign with the University of Arkansas, and then you add J.D. Note and Connor Vanover as 2 more to the program. So that's about 8-9 new basketball players out of your expectations with the new guys coming in. Who's going to be the one player that stands to have the biggest impact on next year's basketball team?
You know what? That is just, you're saying out of the newcomers, right?
Yes,
the new guys.
Entire new guys when you also throw in Vanover and J.D. Note.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a loaded question. I could say that I could give you a reason and make a case for every one of them.
Right.
If I had to call it right now, I'm going to start with Connor Vanover, and the reason that I am, you can't coach 7-3. That's
Absolutely.
Unique. He's gonna create matchup problems. He's a guy that's always, when you look at high school, playing at the high, when he played at Finley Prep, a big time prep school, and then you look at his freshman year at Cal, his production per 40-minute production, the time he's on the floor, is efficient and it's big volume. And so I don't even think you have to have him out there for more than 20, 25 minutes a game. And he's going to bring you value. He's going to stretch the floor. He's going to give Arkansas a lot more options they had last year in pick and roll and pick and pop. So there's a guy right there that I pinpoint as having a big impact. But again, I can make a case for most everybody on that list. Heard nothing but great things about J.D. Note. And we just talked about these other guys. They're all going to make an impact as Arkansas effectively has turned over the roster, right? It looks going to look like a new team next year.
You got it. I gave you a minute and a half. See, people, he's good. I mean, and he's only even better as he covers it. Kevin, I know you got to get back to your job. Hey, looking forward to being on the teleconference with Coach Musselman with you at 4 p.m.
Yep.
But for now, hey, man, thanks for taking time out here on OTH, my man.
Sounds good. Thank you, Pat. See you later.
That was Kevin McPherson of AR Hoop Scoop. Gave us the 411 on the new Hogs that's joined the Must Bus. And a lot of expectations for Coach Eric Musselman heading in year 2. I think this is going to be a top 25 basketball team once the season rolls around. I mean, the pieces are there. This team can make a serious run, but we're going to conclude today's show. I want to give a shout out to all of our guests. With that being said, I want to give a shout out to offensive tackle in the 2022 class from Edmond, Oklahoma, Deer Creek High School's Jacob Sexton for coming on and letting us know where Arkansas is on his mind as far as college football destinations. Also to Devin Lemear of Manor, Texas, the 2021 safety. Had a lot to say. Keep an eye out on Devin as far as Arkansas and his connection. I think they're going to be in on the end of this. And then lastly, our good buddy to give us the 411 on the new Must Bus employees. With that being said, Kevin McPherson of AR Hoop Scoop. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors before we get out of here. With that, also, Lindsay and Associates, with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, it's located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and lastly, KDK's Chicken. You can catch them down at 989 South Razorback Road. Go see Keith and Kathy. Get a good plate of that love. And like they say on the building, it's not your mama's. I had this part. The best chicken and waffles in the South. Meet me there or beat me there. Until tomorrow, from my producer, Demetrius Johnson, and myself, to all of our listeners, we've got a 4 p.m. teleconference with Eric Musselman as he'll recap today's signing day. I think we got a little trick and a treat. You might want to stay on around 4 p.m. I think you'll really enjoy it. For today, it's On the Hill, and it's the Hall Guys on KDSJ 479. You guys have a blessed one, and let's get it.